All right, what's going on? We're on chapter two of my book, and it says, I wish I knew I had nothing to do with my father leaving. That's what we're going to be talking about. Just the struggle with that, with parents splitting up. In this video, we're going to talk about that. So check it out. Hey, and welcome to Keith's Motivational Minute, where I myself, Keith Collins, get to hang out with you, the guy that's on the other side of this video. And real quick, as you know, we've been diving into my book, Fatherless, and it's what I wish I knew as a boy, learning how to become a man in a fatherless culture. And this time we're on chapter 2, and chapter 2 just talks about me wishing to know that I had nothing to do with my mom and dad splitting up. And I think it's so important to understand that I had nothing to do with it, and I had to learn that because as I'm growing up, as I grew up as a young man, like I told you earlier, at the age of 3, my mom and dad split, and for that reason, it somewhat created a void. There was places where I was looking for my biological father to be there, and he wasn't there every single day. And like I said, he wasn't a villain or anything of that nature, but it was just because him and my mom could not gel. They did not gel properly. They wasn't able to stay together to be able to raise me. And so it looked different. My living situations looked different. I had to go to my dad's house on the weekends, and I'd stay with my mom through the week. And I witnessed my mom make an attempt to bring a solid male figure in the house. The first time she did that, she got married, and that wasn't a success. So her second marriage was more successful, and the gentleman who has played that father figure role in my household was my stepfather. An amazing man, and he's done a lot for me. And but I think it's very important, and I highlighted this in this chapter, is that we understand as young people, for those of us who are males who necessarily didn't have our fathers or never met our fathers, to understand the fact that your father is not in your life is not your fault. Your father and your mother are two grown adults, and because they are grown adults, they make grown decisions. Now, those decisions have consequences. They affect people. That's as if I were to take off these glasses and throw them down. I will break these glasses. So tomorrow when I go to put on the glasses, or I need to look somewhere, I wouldn't be able to see. Why? Because my glasses are not on my face, and I don't have my glasses to see with. That's a consequence of me breaking my glasses. And just like in the parenting arena, when the mother and father are not together, it creates something that cannot be naturally there for both the kids. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't co-parent from a distance, but it does have an effect. Whether you say it is or you think it doesn't, it does. And so that's not the God design. God designed for a husband and wife to be together and to be able to raise a child together. And in most cases, it would be in the same household, because it's in the same household that you get a chance to see different interactions played out. It's in the same household where you understand how to work out conflict, how to deal with living in spaces and things like that. And so it's very important to see it played out when you can. I think in my parents' situation, their story probably would have turned out a little bit different if, one, they were married, and two, if they would have sought counseling and wanted to make it work. And I think that's so big that there's many relationships, and there's many parents who are involved in relationships with no really spiritual foundation or spiritual commitment in terms of being married. And I've seen some that are married that separate. And so as kids, I want you to know, if you are a young man or a young lady that's watching this video, I really want you to understand that your parents splitting up has nothing to do with you. I want to drill that in your head, because I think that there's a society of young people and older people who believe that their parents splitting up was their fault. Well, if I would have did better in school, or if I didn't ask for for whatever it was. My parents went and then got into an argument about finances or whatever. No, 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 no. It is not your fault. It is not. And I really want you to understand that, because the enemy has a way of having you to believe that it was your fault. I remember when I was young, I thought that it was my fault. So therefore, I did not bring up certain conversations or ask certain things, because I did not want to cause strife between my mom and my dad. And I think that's a hard and a very tough place to be for a young person. That you don't ask your dad or you don't ask your mom a certain question because you know it might bring up tension. And I want you to know, as young people, that, man, it is not your fault. And if you're parents, I want you to understand and want you to think that regardless if you get along or don't get along with the other spouse, to do your best. Do your best to be cordial. Do your best to talk positive about the other person, because you have little people who are watching, and those little people, they are affected. Whether you believe it or not, they are affected. So that's been my time. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. That's chapter 2. And as you can tell, we start to dive deeper and deeper into this book. And I'm only skimming the surface. You must pick up the book. Pick up the book, Fatherless. It's what I wish I knew as a boy, learning how to become a man in a fatherless culture. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today on this video. Do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to this video, and share this video. And you know what? I will see you on the next video.